Hello, Cinemaster lovers.
First target. Gun.
Welcome back. I hope you're ready for an exciting experience because we've got something special for you today. Get comfortable, grab your snacks, and let's dive right into the action. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's get started. The story begins with Kyle deciding to get donuts, but the scene shifts when the place he's in starts to feel eerie. This place has been frozen and unmoving for 50 years, but suddenly, it starts moving. And that's where the problem begins. The lab's security system gets hacked. Imagine something that had been dormant for many years suddenly deciding to awaken. And it's not just anyone, it's Shadow, the strongest and most dangerous being in the world. At the same time, Sonic and his friends decide to change the mood. Sonic, the genius speedster, enters a challenge with Tails and Knuckles. The race is intense because it's between heroes with unimaginable speed. Tom and Maddie are cheering on the race, saying the famous line, "No catastrophic events." But you know, that sentence always means the opposite. The race is on, and Sonic is in the lead as usual. Everyone watches as he soars through the sky like a jet plane. But suddenly, something unexpected happens. The lab's security system completely goes out of control, and the real danger appears. Shadow, the being that had been frozen for 50 years, awakens, furious, and seeking revenge. What happens when a fun race turns into chaos? And how will Sonic face the impending disaster? The grand race begins between Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, each wanting to prove they are the fastest in the universe. Sonic, as always, leads the race, saying, "This speed is my trademark." The race continues, and the competition is heated, but suddenly Tails declares victory, and Knuckles claps his hands in disbelief, wondering how he lost. Sonic laughs and says, "I simply don't lose." But the story doesn't end here. Suddenly, Sonic notices something strange. His friends start acting as if hypnotized. Here comes the surprise. The race was just a trick, a well-planned scheme by Tom and Maddie to turn a very ordinary day into one filled with joy and surprises. Everyone shouts, "Happy birthday, Sonic!" Zrenia. It's his birthday on Earth, the anniversary of the day that changed all their lives. Tails and Knuckles affirm that Sonic isn't just a hero. He's the reason they are together. The party is full of laughter and memories. Sonic finds himself surrounded by people who love him and appreciate everything he's done for them. After the celebration, Sonic takes a moment to reflect on the past. He returns to his old cave, the place where his life on Earth began. Every detail reminds him of Longclaw, who was more than just a mentor. She was a mother and a source of safety for him. He looks at an old drawing symbolizing the day he first escaped and says, "Do you think she'd be proud of me?" Amidst the nostalgia, Sonic learns a new lesson, that life is all about choices, and even in the hardest times, the heart is the compass that guides him to what's right. This moment proves that he's not just fast but also strong because of his beginnings and the family that loves him. Mr. Walters, who clearly has something big on his mind, declares that the situation is extremely dangerous in Tokyo. The story is about a strange creature who escaped from a secret facility, and the power he has is enough to destroy the entire city. Here, Team Sonic appears, or as Tom called them, heroes without borders. Always ready for anything, Sonic and Tails start the new mission together. The first step is to locate the creature. The plan is simple. We look for a giant fireball. Sonic loves action and says, "Finally, a little movement." Everyone gets ready. Tails comes out with his innovative tools, such as the titanium handcuffs that no one can break. As soon as they arrive in Tokyo, everyone expected to find Godzilla or something similar. But what they found was a strange creature, a creature similar to Sonic, the same speed and the same strength, but with negative energy full of anger. Knuckles tried to stop him with all his strength, but this creature was something else entirely. Not just strong, this is a genius in fighting. Sonic decides that he must enter the confrontation himself. Talking to this creature did not bring results. They tried to explain to him that they do not want problems, but his response was flying cars in every direction. Even Tails with his advanced weapons could not stand in front of him. The result is that the entire Sonic team hit, and it remains in need of a new plan here. But we begin to understand that the battle is still in its beginning, and that this challenge is not only about strength, it is about friendship and trust between the heroes. Sonic the Hedgehog decides to chase Shadow despite Naked's warnings, and here it begins. A quick chase between Sonic and Shadow, as if we were watching a world race. But Shadow is not just a competitor, he is running, and the ground was burning from behind, throwing some cars and creating chaos. It was clear that he had a special plan. After the chase, Sonic finds himself tied with handcuffs because he is a strategic tactician, according to the team. He decides that they have to reconsider their calculations, and the place they chose to gather was the strange Choi Garden in Tokyo, which looked like it came out of an old video. At that moment, Knuckles tried to show his usual strength, but Tails was wiser. Commander Waters finally appears and has some answers. The story began 50 years ago when a strange guy came down. On Earth, in both of them, scientists had a being inside him that they called Shadow, and they said that he was the perfect being, but Shadow's energy was too much. A disaster occurred in the lab, lives were lost, and the project was cancelled. Scientists decided to put Shadow in a state of hibernation so that no one would be able to use his energy. But the big question is, if he was frozen 50 years ago, who helped him escape? The answer is not known, but what is certain is that Shadow is not alone, and that someone is helping him. Events take a new turn and tension rises for Sonic, and the team must find a way to stop Shadow before things get out of control. Suddenly, the planes start flying. The one who is supposed to be dead, Eggman, appears and starts chasing the team. The scene is full of action and chases, as we are used to. But the most exciting moment was when Waters gave Sonic a secret key. It wasn't just any key, it was a key to a very deadly weapon designed by Jay's organization. The recommendation is clear. This key must be kept safe by Sonic. He escapes with the key, but things get complicated when the team begins to doubt their own genies. Are they really on the side of good? Or is there a bigger game behind the scenes? With the Knuckles and Welsh clan, they try to find a plan, but no one trusts the other. In the chaos, a new person appears unexpectedly, the Goat Milker. A strange name, but he clearly has information about Shadow and who helped him escape. This man confirms that Eggman is not the reason, and he sits to provide evidence for his words. The team is in a state of tension and confusion, and with all these events, a feeling appears that there is a big conspiracy. Sonic knows that the solution is to face the facts. But who is the real enemy here? And is this secret key the solution, or just a ploy to lure them into a new trap? We discover that Eggman is not just alive, but in his worst state. He enters the scene strangely, cornered by his enemies, and detonates a bomb. Someone has stolen his technology and is using it for an unknown purpose. To prove his point, he decides to use his drones to locate the mysterious criminal. Here, we reach a strange point in the story. Sonic and the team, who have spent their lives fighting Eggman, find themselves facing a tough decision. Should they agree to collaborate with him to face a common threat? Tails, the always logical one, convinces the team that this might be the only solution. The team takes a step back and starts thinking of a new plan. Eggman, despite his difficult personality, tries to convince them that he has the resources and information that could help them outsmart the new enemy. The team, reluctantly, decides to give this alliance a chance, knowing it's full of risks. The situation remains unclear. Who is the real criminal, and how will the team manage this partnership with someone like Eggman? As the tension rises and nothing is guaranteed, under the stars, Shadow sits in a moment of reflection. He is with Maria, the only person who sees him as human and not just a scientific experiment. The scene begins with a dreamy gaze at the sky. Maria explains to Shadow that the stars they see might have died long ago, but their light still reaches us. We realize something important. Shadow himself is like those stars, present but filled with pain and brilliance. All he's searching for is a place to belong. Maria tries to reassure him, telling him he's not as dangerous as the scientists think, and that he has the chance to be anything he wants. Not because of his superpowers, but because of what's inside him. At this moment, we see the human side of the hero, who possesses incredible strength but a heart clouded with fear and sadness. After this emotional scene, the events take an exciting turn. The team arrives at Eggman's location, an abandoned military base. Sonic and the team are suspicious of the place, and Eggman, as usual, tries to be sarcastic. But the tension is evident. The place is so deserted it makes everyone wonder, are there ghosts? Eggman tries to act unafraid, or at least pretends to be. To cover all aspects of the base, the team splits up. Tails and Sonic head one way, Knuckles takes the middle section, and Eggman joins Sonic. Meanwhile, Tails finds himself in a strange conversation with Stone, who thinks he's Sonic's assistant. But Tails explains that they are a complete team, and everyone has a role. This scene highlights the difference between the two teams. Sonic's team moves like a family, while Eggman is always alone. The team discovers that the place is not just a military lab, but a home filled with memories. What they thought was just a laboratory turns out to be a place where people lived, laughed, argued, a full life that has vanished. Eggman, in his usual manner, turns the serious moment into an opportunity for sarcasm, talking about how he has no family, no parents, no one to remember his birthday. Eggman is trying to hide the pain of loneliness. As we're still trying to understand, the biggest surprise appears. Gerald Robotnik, Eggman's grandfather, shows up. The man who was supposed to have been dead for years appears before them. calmly revealing a shocking secret. He was behind the Shadow Project and had been planning something even greater. It's a strange moment, mixing a family touch with a sense of unease. Gerald not only explains but also turns the situation into a series of bizarre questions, from robotic secrets to the longest word in the English dictionary. It feels like a game show, leaving everyone confused about where they are and why. Eggman stands stunned before Gerald, asking the most important question: where have you been all my life? We begin to feel that this story isn't just a battle between heroes and villains, but a tale of people who have lost so much and are trying to fill the void in any way possible. Eggman discovers a shocking truth. His grandfather, Gerald Robotnik, had been living in a secret prison for 50 years and has a sinister plan to change the world's fate. Gerald doesn't just return. He comes back with a new version of his weapons and ideas. The centerpiece of his plan is the Eclipse Cannon, capable of destroying any location on the planet with a single strike. Eggman stands amazed at his grandfather's intelligence, but also senses that things might turn against him. Shadow finds himself in the heart of this psychological battle. He has the chance to avenge what happened to Maria, who was dearest to him, but the cost is enormous. Millions of lives. The surprise begins when Gerald activates the cannon, opening a black portal that sucks in everything around it. Sonic tries to stop the disaster with a clever trick using the magic rings. As we approach the climax, Shadow finds himself facing a pivotal choice: to continue the cycle of revenge or to end the cycle of hatred. Meanwhile, Eggman tries to play both sides. Sonic and his companions embark on a dangerous mission in the heart of the enemy's base. The situation is nothing short of a covert operation in a heavily fortified organization headquarters, making even Sonic think twice before breaking in. In the server room, as they insert the USB, Tails and Maddie join the team on a mission more complex than they expected. Their goal is to hack into the organization's defenses. As soon as they approach, the base's energy shield burns any attempt at infiltration, even if it's Sonic himself. The team divides roles. Sonic is responsible for speed, Knuckles for secrets, while Tails and Maddie become secret agents in a mission straight out of a spy movie. The problem lies in a corridor filled with laser traps, capable of slicing them into tiny pieces. Maddie asks Sonic why he doesn't use the Master Emerald, the ultimate power that could resolve the mission, but he strongly objects, saying that the emerald is sacred and that anyone who tries to use it will regret it. The decision isn't easy, and the team must choose between risking everything or trying to complete the plan without it. As the plan unfolds, the tension rises, and everyone begins to doubt the possibility of success. The mission is clear, but the dangers are far greater than expected. The Sonic team continues. He enters the toughest mission so far. He storms John's headquarters in London, and the situation is no joke, just as you'd expect. We have Shadow, full of anger and issues, Sonic trying to balance speed and strategy, and Tom and Maddie, who suddenly became secret agents. As soon as they reach the headquarters, Shadow is eager for revenge and wants to storm in immediately, but Sonic tells him, "Hold on, hero. We're here in the server room." They prepare to break the glass in case of an emergency. Sonic distributes roles. Tom and Maddie are responsible for planting the emergency device, and Shadow is so excited that he's ready to break the glass. They proceed with the plan, but the surprise comes when Rachel, Maddie's sister, appears and creates a scene straight out of an action comedy movie, distracting the guards in a way that seems almost magical. Sonic watches all this and says, "We're literally in a spy action movie." Things get complicated when they discover the security at the headquarters is tighter than expected. Shadow gets cornered, but Rachel takes matters into her own hands and breaches the defenses with just one sentence: "Would you like to see the other side of kindness?" In an instant, they trick the guards and move the team to the next stage. Time is running out, and the danger is increasing. Shadow waits for the right moment to strike, while Knuckles stands by the clock tower, ready for any emergency. Meanwhile, the team prepares to insert the USB. Maddie and Tom finally reach the server room, but the pressure is like a ticking time bomb. Tom tries to lighten the mood by saying, "Everything will go as planned, for sure." Unfortunately, it doesn't work. Sonic suggests, "Try hitting it." Maddie tries pressing a random button, and miraculously, the device starts working. But just as things seem to go smoothly, a new disaster appears. The device begins sending strange signals, and Sonic notices two things. First, Robotnik and his team have entered the headquarters, and second, time is running out at an alarming speed. Knuckles, standing by the clock tower, asks, "Is it time to break the glass?" Sonic responds, "Not yet, buddy." Robotnik finally reaches the vault, and the plan begins to unravel. The team tries to rely on luck. Robotnik, in an advanced suit, dodges the laser beams and says confidently, "I designed this suit for a moment like this." Sonic can't wait any longer and says, "I'm going in no matter what." He speeds ahead, trying to beat Robotnik, But with the new technology and traps waiting for him, things don't go as expected. The vault is on the verge of exploding. Sonic tries the impossible to stop the danger. Our hero, who can never sit still, finally reaches London with a clear mission: to infiltrate the headquarters, secure the second key, and possibly stop the chaos spreading around the world. But of course, the task isn't as easy as expected. The place is filled with laser traps and shifting gravity. The green pulls you up, and the red drags you down like a giant magnet. Sonic tries to use his super speed to avoid everything, but for the first time in his life, he finds himself needing to play it cautiously. He waits atop the clock tower for the perfect moment to break the glass but still doesn't know when. Maddie tries to find a way to deactivate the traps. Meanwhile, Sonic races like lightning between the obstacles and faces Robotnik's grandfather, the villain who also wants the key for himself. Here comes the surprise. Robotnik's grandfather appears in full evil force with a diabolical plan to destroy the world. Sonic tries to negotiate, but the grandfather laughs wickedly and says, "The only solution is to get rid of you permanently." He begins firing. Knuckles finally breaks the glass, causing chaos everywhere. The team seizes the opportunity and starts moving quickly. Sonic finds the second key, but the problem is that it's surrounded by a magnet pulling him down. Tails appears and says, "Try this," firing a device that frees Sonic. Sonic grabs the key, but Robotnik won't let him escape. A frantic chase ensues to get out of the headquarters before everything explodes. The situation becomes even more tense when Commander Walters, the man who had been guarding the key all along, gets injured. But before things spiral out of control, Sonic takes the key and declares, "With this key, let's get out of here now." On the way out, something strange happens. Tom falls and Sonic screams, "Tom, you can't leave us now." But sadly, there's no response. This heartbreaking moment pushes Sonic to the edge, and he begins to lose his temper until Shadow enters the scene and coldly says, "I did what had to be done." After the team finds themselves betrayed, Shadow hands the keys to Robotnik and his evil grandfather. That's when the big secret is revealed. A massive project ready for activation, and the disaster is about to become a reality. The colossal machine is designed to destroy anything in its path with deadly precision. Robotnik doesn't stop there. He unveils a new suit filled with power and control and arrogantly says, "I am the better version of myself." Meanwhile, Tails starts doubting the grandfather's plan and says, "Something's wrong with what's happening. There's a hidden secret." Robotnik decides to activate the machine himself and tells his grandson, "Shadow, start it up." The tension reaches its peak, and the team is paralyzed, unsure of what to do. After Tom's injury and a significant loss to the team, Sonic falls into an uncontrollable rage. The anger consumes him, and he says in a sharp voice, "I don't want anyone to comfort me. I want to stop them at any cost, even if it means using the Chaos Emeralds." But Knuckles warns him, the Emeralds are not for revenge. They're a sacred covenant. Sonic, who was always a symbol of unity, finds himself alone. Knuckles and Tails refuse to join in the revenge. Knuckles adds, "To reach the Emerald, you must face the warrior who guards it, and I won't just stand by and watch." Sonic and Knuckles engage in an emotional battle. The two friends who were always side by side are now fighting over the fate of the Emerald. In a painful moment, Knuckles says, "I'm sorry, Sonic, but protecting the Emerald is more important than anything." At this point, we discover that Shadow and Robotnik have stolen a giant spaceship and launched it from the River Thames with the aim of destroying everything in their path. An automated voice warns all residents to seek shelter immediately. Shadow stands before the button that will activate the weapon, and Sonic arrives at the last moment. The confrontation turns from a mere fight into a moral dilemma. Sonic shouts, "Is this really what Maria wanted? Is this what she deserved?" But Shadow, with a heart full of pain, replies, "The question isn't what Maria wanted. The question is what the world deserves after what they did." The beginning takes us to the flashback that affects Shadow. He remembers the moment he lost Maria. The soldiers storm the place, and the orders are clear: eliminate everyone present. Maria, who was the one most affected, sacrifices herself to protect him. This is the moment that shaped his anger and decision for revenge. Geraldine, my crazy grandfather, reveals his ultimate weapon, the Eclipse Cannon, which operates on chaotic energy, about to turn the whole planet into a comet. And every brute says, "We will burn this world and build a new one from its ashes." But he is disguised, always having his own ambitions. He tries to control humanity better than destroying it. Shadow, who always saw revenge as the solution, begins to doubt his plan when the grandfather says Maria was the only reason for our family. In her absence, the world has no meaning. This moment was the turning point in Shadow's character, but the anger was still dominant. Sonic, with his incredible speed, storms the ship before the weapon is fired. Sonic screams that anger won't bring back Maria, and there are still people in the world who deserve to live. The battle on the ship was epic. Sonic and Shadow fought, and their clashes caused explosions around the ship. The moment everyone was waiting for when Shadow says, "I am not like you. I will not choose damage." The ship began to crumble, and the weapon was about to launch. Shadow decides to sacrifice himself to stop the cannon and save the planet. The moment was filled with tears as he says, "Maria, finally let there be peace." Sonic returns to Earth, but his friend is gone. The world has changed, and everyone understands that this sacrifice was necessary, but has Shadow really ended? Or is there another surprise waiting for Sonic? The heroic speedster, known for his speed, faces one of the biggest challenges of his life. Shadow, the hedgehog filled with anger and pain due to his past losses. In a moment filled with tension, Shadow finds himself facing Sonic, who tries to stop him by any means from executing his plan that could wipe out the entire planet. Shadow tells Sonic that he betrayed his friends and leaves him to take revenge, and thus begins the battle between good and evil. Sonic tries to convince Shadow that anger is not the solution, and if he continues on this path, he will find nothing but emptiness. The great moment comes when Shadow asks Sonic to kill him and finish the story. But Sonic proves that being a hero is not about strength, but about heart. He tells him that anger should not rule him. The love in his heart is stronger than anything. This phrase has a significant impact on Shadow, who begins to see things differently. After a long contemplation and a painful confrontation with his feelings, Shadow decides to make the right choice. He abandons revenge and starts helping Sonic to fix what was broken. The two unite against the real enemy who was trying to erase the planet. They manage to save the planet and demonstrate that even if the world was against them, love and cooperation are always stronger. And that's how our movie ends. Don't forget to like and subscribe to get all the new updates.